Hello, my name is Tabat Emmanuel, a Nigerian medical doctor currently working in Australia. In today's video, I'm going to share with you the documents that you need to submit for Ahpra registration. I got a job in Australia after passing the AMC1 exams, and then that was going to be a limited registration. It took me 7 weeks, 4 days precisely for me to be able to complete my registration with Ahpra. And this is something that ideally takes between 3 to 6 weeks. And the reason for that is because I made some certain mistakes that if I knew, I could have avoided, and this process would have been way shorter for me. And that's why I'm making this video, so that it will help you to know what you need to bring and how to do it. Because when you do it wrongly, Ahpra will send you an email to tell you that they need this or this is wrong, and it further delays the entire process. So it's always better for you to just gather everything that is being needed and send it once and for all. That makes the process shorter for you. This is based on my experience. Because of that, my experience might be different from others that are coming via other means. So if you're coming here or intend to come here via the limited registration pathway, that's after passing AMC1, then this video is going to be extremely useful for you. So if this is something you're interested in, let's dive in. To make things a bit easy, I divided the documents into 3 broad groups. The first one is the identification documents. The second one is the qualification documents. The third one is the prospective job documents. And the fourth one is others. Don't worry, this English might sound too big, but as you go down the video, you understand. It makes it easier for you to gather whatever you need to gather. For the identification documents, the first thing you will need is a notarized copy of your international passport. Just know that you have to notarize some certain documents, and I didn't divide them into notarized and non-notarized stuff. There are some of them in the identification document and some in other subsets that I put in. But just know that for the international passport, which is your main form of identification, you will need a notarized copy to submit to Ahpra. The next one for identification documents will be your birth certificate, and that has to be notarized too. Then your driver's license or your marriage certificate, if you're married, might also be required from you. So have at least 3 forms of identification document at least, but 4 will make sense. So your international passport, there's no way you can dodge that one. Then your birth certificate, your driver's license, and then maybe your marriage certificate if need be. Then for the qualification documents, it means the documents that prove that you are a qualified medical doctor. The first one is your medical certificate from your university or college of medicine, whichever place you studied and became a medical doctor. Not your medical license, your medical certificate from the school, the higher institution that you graduated from, and it must be notarized too. The next document will be your certificate of internship completion. So in Nigeria, we have a particular form that when you finish internship, you fill it. However, if you can, the institution in which you did your internship can also write a letter to state that, yeah, you had completed this from this time to this time. And that letter must be notarized too. Don't submit it without being notarized. Then the next document will be your CV. And Ahpra has a way that they want their CVs to be done. And maybe I'll make a video for that particular purpose too. I think it's very important. I joined the WhatsApp group in which the group members were also looking for jobs in Australia, and then there were some people in the group that had already gotten jobs in Australia, so they were able to guide many of us on how to do these things. And part of it is designing your CV the Ahpra way, so it has a template, and after you do that, it must be signed under by you. If you don't sign that thing, forget it. Ahpra is not going to collect it at all. So your CV is very important. You have to do the Ahpra way too. And that one does not need to be notarized at all. You just have to declare and sign at the end of the CV. Then the next thing they will need will be your English exams. And that will be either IELTS, OET, PTE, whichever one you decide to write and pass. And then what you do is that apart from sending them a copy of the result, you also have to, on the site of your result, enable them to be able to access it. This was something I didn't do too, so it was part of the back and forth too. I had to enable them to access it, and that was easier. So you send a copy to them and then also allow them to access it. You would indicate which body you want to be able to access it, whether it's Ahpra or GMC, whichever one. But for this case, in this case, it's Ahpra. So indicate that Ahpra should be able to access your result. It's very important, or else they'll send you an email to allow them to access it. Then the last qualification document will be your AMC result. It's coming from AMC itself, the Australian body, so you don't need to notarize or anything. Just download a copy of the result and send it to them too. So it's part of the documents that you need, and you must have passed, and passing is having at least 250. So these are the qualification documents that I can remember. Then for the prospective job documents, that means that you need to have some documents that are coming from where you're going to work. Before I go into the documents, make sure that you have these things first. It means that because you got the job does not mean just jump and start registering with Ahpra. There are some documents you will need from the place that you're going to work, and these are the documents. So make sure you have all these things first before you start your Ahpra registration. The first thing you will need is your offer of employment letter. Very important. Yes, you have to have that one. So if you have not been given, make sure you get it before you start anything. That's very important. That one does not need to be notarized or anything. The next document they will need is a training plan. That one comes from the hospital too. They will state the training, how you're going to go about everything. Forget about that one. They know they are going to send it to you. So you have to also make sure that you have that one too. It does not need to be notarized at all. In fact, all the documents from your prospective place of work do not need to be notarized. So don't worry about that one. Once you get them, you're good to go. The next one will be your position description. Don't worry about that one. It's overwhelming, but it will come from your place of work. In the document, they state what you're going to do. Depending on whichever role you're being employed into, they will state it in the document which you're going to submit to Ahpra. Then the next document is an SPPA 30 form. The SPPA means Supervised Practice Plan and Supervisor's Agreement form. So in that form is a very, 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 very fat form. You see the way I'm saying this is very fat. I think I have to make a video on how to fill that one too. It's very fat, that's what I'll tell you. But in some parts of the document, your place of work have to sign too. So it doesn't mean that as much as you can download it from the Ahpra site, there are parts of the form that needs to be signed by the people at your place of work. So it means that you cannot submit it without you completing what needs to be completed, and your employers too need to fill their own parts too, or else Ahpra will send it back to you to fill it. You have to make sure that you fill everything and don't miss it, because there was one thing I missed. Ahpra still sent the form back to me to fill it, so it's very important that you don't miss anything. Then the next form is the ALPS 30 form. The ALPS means Application for Limited Registration for Postgraduate Training or Supervised Practice as a Medical Practitioner. I think I got it. It's quite long, So that form too, like the SPPA 30 form, this one is not as fat, but it has a component that your employers must also fill too. So make sure that these two forms, the SPPA 30 form and the ALPS 30 form, are being filled by your employers too before you forward it to Ahpra. So as I stated earlier, these ones do not need to be notarized. There's no need for that one, so just move on. Then the last category of forms is the criminal clearance check, which is an international criminal clearance check. And there are two sites you can use for that. I will leave the link of these sites below, the Fit to Work or the AIS. They are all criminal checking agencies. They will just do a background check on you to make sure that you are not a criminal or you've not committed any crime that would come and jeopardize the safety of medical practice or the country. So, and for that one, you have to pay to be checked from each country you have stayed for a while. So for someone like me that I was born, trained, and initially practiced in Nigeria, then I moved to Saudi Arabia where I spent nearly 4 years. I had to pay for both the Nigerian check and the Saudi Arabian check. So for some people that have stayed in more than one country, it means that you have to be checked for each of these countries, and each of them is about the same price too. Sorry, I'm not going to state the cost because I can't remember them offhead or offhand. You apply, submit your ID card also, and then also fill your address in whichever country you stay. It takes about 2-3 weeks. So that means that before you're ready for Ahpra, you should start that one so that when it's ready, you can just submit it also. And the criminal check will also be demanded at your place of work when you're registered. So it's very important that you do that too. These are the documents that you need for your Ahpra registration. As best as I could remember, these were the things I used. I hope this video is going to be useful. If you had gone through this and you think I've missed anything, please let me know in the comment section so that we can help as many people that need guidance in this. So if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. And if you like what I do here, I want to remain here, please subscribe and turn on the bell notification. Thank you, and I'm going to see you in my next video. Bye.